It's Wednesday night again.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. The immortal Matt Rogan playing the fiddle in the background there. Myself, Christopher Coote. The lovely Ginger is in the house. And it's Wednesday night, and it's Strang Theory.
Almost
Strang Live. Yes. And somebody took down the sponsors list, so that's gone. Where did that go?
Where is it? Last week.
Jesus.
Oh, hang on. No.
Really? Somebody removed the sponsors list and never replaced it. Okay.
Alright.
So,
Give us somebody you can remember.
well, there's that then.
Yeah, give it a go.
I can't remember all those people. There's 30 of them. Jesus, boys, you can't take that down. All right. Okay, well, there we go. You know who you are.
We'll talk about them at the end.
What a bunch of dicks. You take the sponsor list off the stand. See, this is what I mean. Show suffers, and then I suffer, and then it's just, then it's going to be pandemonium.
How are you now?
Not the best. Really, where did that go?
I have no idea. I didn't take it down.
Okay, I gotta find it.
All
It
right.
doesn't matter.
So, Ginger,
Hi, Chris.
what's new?
Not much.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the sponsor list is missing. Did you hear?
It is. But here it comes. How did it get way over there?
It probably just fell off.
All right. Why didn't I see that when I was just over there?
Because you're a dick.
All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Things are
The
off to a roaring
sponsors
start.
are,
Boucher, of course.
of course.
I could have done that without the list.
All right.
Truly. Levy's, G&G Music, Citadel Music, Brick House Guitars, K&K Sound, Gallagher, Recording King, Alvarez Jerry. I should say
Gallagher.
Recording King, Alvarez Jerry, St. Louis Music. Yamaha Canada, James Martin Instruments, Close Guitars, Cody Guitars, local Cody. Orangewood Guitars, the Dario, the Arc, Apollo Picks, Epiphone, Gibson, Toad, LR Bags. Oh yeah. Maestro Hosen Guitars in Singapore, George Crackett, our friend from New York. Emerald Guitars, the world's greatest artisan carbon fiber instruments ever made. The Nova Scotia SPCA. Charmed Life Picks, Pickers Grip, David Fleming in Green, Iowa. And our good buddies at Tone Traveler, Dr. Herringbone.
Is really herringbone?
That's what they're called, Dr. Herringbone. That's the name of the company.
Does he travel in a TARDIS?
Maybe.
It's possible.
All right.
How am I supposed to know these things?
All right. I give up. I surrender. I make it out.
Oh, I'm good. So let's go to Capo Corner real quick, and we'll run through some. We'll run through a little bit of
Commentary?
comment area here.
Okay.
There's so much. So I love this one. On our K&K Pure Mini pickup install, Charles Vickers says, "You two boys should take this act on the road." Well done, gents.
No.
Yeah.
We've been on the road for 30 years.
Well, here's a good one. On my video, of course, which is like one of the best viewed videos in the whole channel, Why Do I Hate Martin Guitars, right? It's got 150,000 views now or something. It's ridiculous. Right. It was one of the biggest things I ever did. And as you all know, it's not because I actually hate Martin Guitars. So anyhow, Paul Ward says, so I bought a Martin D28 Marquis. I don't know if you guys remember the Marquis. So back in the 80s, Martin put out basically to answer Sigma, because Sigma was putting out
Killer guitars
that Martin sued them and had basically controlled them, and then they let them make the guitars under the Martin supervision, blah, blah, blah. So to combat that, they created this marquee division,
Right.
which was laminate Martins, right? Made by Martin. And I had one. It was a killer. And they were cheap. They were easy to afford. But this guy, of course, got a dud. He says, so I bought a Martin D28 Marquis from Reverb several years back. Having never heard it or played it, was crushed when I played it. It was just a total dud.
Oh.
It sounded dead. And even after setup, it was never right. It was 9 years old when I got it. And it's definitely opened up a lot, but it is an uninspiring guitar. I wish I just searched longer.
That's sad.
Yeah, but it happens. So
Yeah.
people need to not put all their eggs in the one basket of any company, any mass production company.
Like
right?
you've got your eggs spread amongst everybody's basket.
I do,
Yeah.
and I love that. A nice one. Place.
You want to share that?
Name.
Whoa. What's happening? Whoa.
This guy's name is Place Balls on Chin.
That is good.
Holy crap.
That's his YouTube handle.
Yes, as he says, as always, your videos inspire me. Keep on keeping on. Balls, we certainly will.
Keep your chin up.
Yeah. No name says, sounds wonderful. He's talking about the Emerald X20 Dreadnought. But then again, John, you can play an ice cream bucket with elastic bands of strings and a broomstick for the neck and still get a tune out of it.
Yeah.
But the X20 Emerald guitars are absolutely unbelievable. And there's more videos coming up on those guys that I intend to do. Because they really are supernatural. Let's see. Balls on chin. So here's a good one. Here's an interesting one. So the showdown between the Boucher, my Rocket, and the Martin D41, where a lot of people love the D41 better, and I understand that because the D41 has the classic Martin sound. And I still have that guitar. I'll keep it till I die. That guitar is truly representative of what Martin can actually do.
The best of.
Yeah. Right? But for me, the Rocket's still the best guitar because it has more clarity and enunciation and projection. Agility. Yeah, really a lot of agility. Yeah. Like tonally. Yeah. Tonal agility, right? So Jason Donovan says, both great sounding. I've played D41s that were awesome, and I've played D41s that were not awesome. I have a brand new D18 standard model Martin that's better than most D18s and 28s I've ever played, and I've played hundreds of them. More videos with you playing solo, please, and do a best of bluegrass. Thank you. So, yeah. Let's see here. This is another one, too. So here's a great string theory comment from Cajun Queen.
Oh, Cajun Queen.
Back January 13th of 21. She said, I really appreciated that interesting discussion, RE phrasing. And yeah, I've always loved Willie Nelson's guitar playing for all the reasons you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like I say, I'm not able to answer all of these because there's hundreds of them each week. But I do manage to read every single one because they all come to my phone. And Chris, will you let Jack out? He's going to pee on the floor over there.
Jackie.
He's been scratching at the door for 10 minutes. So, anyhow, there's Cable Corner, and a shout out to all the people that continue to watch the channel and talk to me. I love all of you. Make sure you understand that I see everything you say. I'm not ignoring you. It's just that there's so many of you that I can't answer all of them. I do manage to answer about 6 to a dozen a week. Usually the ones that are like emergency, where somebody's trying to decide between this model and that model of something, or there's all kinds of different scenarios that I pick up on and go, well, I better answer this, because if they don't, they might make a mistake, or they go into a purchase or a gig or whatever they're doing without having all the information. So I answer a lot of people that way. So, but I love you all, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, because I'm just some fat arsehole up here in Nova Scotia with 40,000 subscribers and
I noticed
talking
you're
about
down on yourself this evening.
I'm not down
Did
myself.
you want to discuss it?
I'm just realistic. I'm a realist.
Are you having a hard time today?
Well, I
Where would
thought
you like to start?
usually I go into string theory knowing that there'll be at least 2 people in the room intoxicated. But tonight, no go. So I'm already sucking hind tit, as they
Maybe we
say.
need to provide you with some tone traveler therapy for 2 weeks. Strap this to your arse neck.
Yes, my nipple neck.
So not the recommended use for that project.
First Kirsten goes to
That would be a super chat from Stephen Baker.
Of course.
Stephen Becker.
How's the water, Stefan?
Stefan. He's not a PH. He's VEN,
Yeah.
so Stephen. Yes?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
He says, "Good evening. My pronouns tonight are breezy meadow."
Breezy Meadow.
Don't know where he comes up with this stuff, but there
I
you
think
have
the
it.
pronoun is like swampy folds. Or
Yeah, swampy folds.
He's driving home from, or traveling home from
Yeah.
Cyprus.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's not in the tub.
Your pronoun is muddy ditch. Muddy back ditch.
Keep your eyes on the road there, Sudsy.
Yeah.
Did you want to do the intro or no?
I guess not.
No, we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, I forgot. I was so. I'm sorry. I'm out of sorts because
You are out of sorts tonight.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm a bit excited about it, and so yeah. I'm
You're off
I'm
your feet
excited
today.
slash trying to plan the future suddenly
Oh, relax.
with
You're-
all of this.
Oh,
this- you just wait.
drama
You
queen.
don't know what's going to happen tonight.
You're a drama
It's going to blow your mind.
Your
It's
inner
gonna
drama
blow
queen is
your
showing.
mind. Trust me, isn't it? It is. Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah, it's going to blow your mind.
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Sorry.
We got another super chat.
Sorry.
Next question
You're the
goes
man.
to
You're the fucking man.
Next
We
person.
got a super chat from Sarah Watson.
Sarah Watson.
Do you have a recommendation for the best person in Nova Scotia to install a K&K dual tone mandolin pickup in our Eastman MD 315? We live in Truro. Thank you.
Who's in Truro? I don't know anybody in Truro.
Well, the best thing that you can do is take it to Long and McQuaid and Truro, because K&K has a very thorough installation guide that comes with the pickup, and they're very easy to install. So even if the guy at Long McQuaid has never installed one, he's installed enough sensor pickups to know the premise, and he'll get it right.
And they may even send all that stuff from
They,
Truro.
they may,
to the
but I
city.
doubt it. They're
Yeah.
starting to really concentrate on having in-house guys to do that kind of work.
I was at L&M in Bedford, Dan. Do you know who I missed by literally 30 seconds?
Doug Simpson.
Simpson?
Fucking Doug Simpson. Fucking Doug Simpson. Yeah, and I don't even know. I wouldn't even give that to Doug. I don't know how. I don't know if he probably has, but it's a rare organism. Inserting a K&K in a mandolin is a different premise. So, but like I said, the techs at Long McQuaid know what they're doing. They deal with these. They're dealing with more and more of these. And I have to say, I don't mean to be a butthole about this, but the whole reason that K&K is popular in this part of the world is because of me. I'm the first
A
guy.
large statement.
Who is? You
What?
are?
It's a large statement.
It's true.
You are.
You know why I know that? Because I was the guy who called L&M and said they'd never heard of K&K. And I said, you have to get these in because I want Doug to put them on my guitars. And they were like, why, are they good? I was like, yeah, get them in. So the first thing you know, Bedford buys a dozen of them, and then in the following year, the entire chain bought them because, and that's how. But and I'm not. It doesn't even matter about me because that's how they discover everything in chains like that. Some pro artist walks in and goes, "I use this kind of mic. Have you ever seen this? It's from fucking Botswana or wherever." And they go, "No, we haven't." Well, it's awesome, and I've told 6 people want to buy them. So Long McQuaid has the buying power to get these things done, and thank God,
because they still can't get enough of them.
Yeah,
they're sold out all the time.
Like K&K.
Yeah.
I'm virtually getting them for wholesale from K&K myself because they know I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of units, right? So you can't. L&M is well versed in K&K's product. So if you do take it to, if there's a tech at Truro, if there's not a tech at Truro, bring it down to your closest one would be Bedford.
Yep.
Talk to what's her man there? Not Ken, Kevin.
Turning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin at Bedford,
Yeah.
and he will make sure it gets put in correctly.
Yep.
So,
Kevin's the store manager there in Bedford.
but
and
you
he'll
could
fix
not pick a better pickup for mandolin.
We put one in. I put one in somebody's mandolin.
Not mine. Mine came with them.
Yeah, but at last
Eastman puts
summer,
them in everything.
I put one in somebody's mandolin, and it sounds incredible.
Yes, and be aware that you must put it through some kind of an EQ system, either a pedal or an amp. There's Jacko. You can't just run a K&K through a DI. You have to have like some kind of an EQ, an LR Bags, para acoustic DI, something that gives you some EQ control of it because it's a raw sounding pickup, but it's also not that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It captures all of the top, but you do need to control it with a EQ before it goes to the board or whatever, right? So be aware of all that. I use them. I plug them right into my Fishman, carve it up the way I want it, and man, it sounds incredible. So it's just like the Mando. There's no coloration. No.
You put it through the lab box.
Yeah. No CAC. No.
So on that, you've got
just 3 band.
3 band. Yeah.
Bass, mid, trub.
What was the little pedal that you and Gunning used to both have them, the blue one? And it was a parametric EQ.
Oh, those were.
And it had notch filters on it.
Well, that was the Fishman Platinum.
No, they were blue.
That's the Empress.
Thing. Yeah, the Empress.
That's Dave's thing. I never
you
had
didn't have
one.
one?
I can't afford them. They're like $700
for a pedal.
Yeah,
but
just
it had
EQ.
a ton of stuff on it.
Oh yeah, he used that for years
Yeah.
till it fizzled out. You need to fix that because it's all shorted out.
Well, I can't keep fixing it for him because he keeps breaking.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next curse. That was a
That was a
quite
good
the
rabbit
fucking
hole.
rabbit hole
Yeah.
there.
Do it.
Where's the Hassenpfeffer?
What?
Since we've Hassenpfeffer. So we didn't been down a rabbit hole. Rabbit. This is Hassenpfeffer.
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 I do not understand that.
I
word at
want
all.
declare.
Hassenpfeffer.
Well,
I
I declare, keep your head on.
What are you talking about?
You don't know what Hassenpfeffer is?
Yeah.
Clearly no.
It's rabbit stew.
Yeah, rabbits do.
Oh,
Hassenpfeffer. Okay, next.
I see. A super chat from Ian Roster.
And I just poured beer all over myself.
Hey, Ian.
How you doing, Ian?
Happy Wednesday, brother.
Just when you came on the show, I beer pissed down the side of my face.
You're a mess.
You're chaos over there today.
What do you got there, Ian, buddy?
Take her easy there, buds. He says, sipping coffee and throw a few set of 1150 string joys on the Firebird. When touring, how often are you changing them?
Guitar strings?
Yeah.
Oh, well, frankly, it depends on whether or not I'm using elixirs or D'Addario. So elixirs last me roughly 4 shows, and then they start to feather and get dirty down at the sound hole where I pick.
So the coating's coming off.
Coating's coming off.
Yeah.
Starting on, but the D'Addarios, I can get 6 shows with no feathering
Right.
and no coating degradation. Good word. Eh?
Degradation.
Drunk
That is like
degradation.
that is like a $2.50
Oh
word.
fuck! That's $3 tops.
Tops. Yeah. Degradation. You can really mess yourself up if you're having difficulty with your emphasis.
Yes.
Strides.
If I have to put the emphasis in the wrong syllable,
Yeah.
it's pretty well game over for me.
Okay, so you get longer of the D'Addario.
Yes.
Which of the are you using the nano webs?
Oh yeah, there's nothing. As far as I'm concerned, there is no other elixir but nanoweb.
Okay.
The polyweb's a joke.
Right.
Polywebs are a joke because the only reason they even keep making polywebs is because they broke into the market with polyweb.
Yeah, and then
if they stop making them, it makes them look bad. They can't stop making polywebs because then they would have to admit that it was shit.
What's the difference again in nanoweb and polyweb?
Well, it's huge. So polyweb is okay. So you have a string. There's your
core.
There's the core of the string, which is the difference between elixir and D'Addario.
Right.
So the core of elixirs is a straight steel core, right? And what they would do is the winding, the brass or bronze, or 80-20 mixture,
bronze,
phosphor, not even phosphor. They used 80-20, wasn't phosphor bronze, because it would be pointless to destroy phosphor bronze with this process. So they take 80-20 bronze wrapping, and they coat the wrapping in wax.
And then they'd wrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say it's wax because it looked like wax.
Yeah.
But it was a polymer. It was a rubber
right.
polymer, right? So they coat the winding
and then
put it around the core.
Right.
And so you were stuck with these strings that had this huge, gross white coating.
Looked like dandruff.
Yeah, it was
would
horrible.
feather off. Yeah.
They played like rubber and sound like garbage. When I first played elixirs way back in the late 90s, they were I was the first guy to get them. Me and Kevin Evans. Kevin Evans got it started. He called me. They called me. They sent me a box of these things. Kevin got a box, and I'm saying all these things, but I've been an elixir artist since the late
Forever.
90s.
Yeah.
And they still love me.
Okay, and the nanoweb,
So
they wrap the whole thing.
The nanoweb is a far superior polymer coating that they build the string first out of the highest possible materials. Then they coat the whole string
once it's wrapped
in this super high-end polymer that you can't see it, you can't hear it, but it keeps the finger acids from going inside the windings and killing the core.
Right.
So that's elixir. Elixir invented this process.
And D'Addarios are like the nanoweb process.
Yes, but the difference is the D'Addario strings before coating are far superior construction. They have they call it NS steel, the steel core that they use that have a trademark on. It is a certain density.
Yeah.
And they build it, it's custom built for the strings. And what it does is creates a false tension in the string so that when you put light gauge on your guitar, they feel and sound heavier, but play with great ease. But there's more resistance to them. So they're funner to play. Like when you hit a string, there's more vibration coming through your fingertips, through the guitar.
More feel to it.
There's more feel to it, right? So I still love both strings. Elixirs, you can't beat them. They've become the norm. So I don't really know anything else anymore. Like right now, tonight I put a set of GHS phosphor bronze on this guitar.
So uncoated.
Uncoated.
Right.
And they're going to sound great, but they're only going to sound great for 10 songs. Right.
Now,
so
it's bass players, I think, who sometimes, because there's a set of strings for an electric bass is pretty lot of money these days. Some of them I've heard boil them.
I used to do
in methyl hydrate.
No, just hot water.
Oh, I
used to boil my guitar strings.
Hydrate.
I used to boil my guitar strings on the stove when I was a kid, and if they broke, my father had taught me when I was a little boy. Like he died when I was 8, but I was playing when I was 5. So when I was about 7 years old, he taught me how to tie a knot in a broken string so it would hold
right up top,
right up here.
Yeah.
So I would boil my strings, and at the time, we didn't know any better. My brother didn't know any better. My brother, Joe, believed that I was because I was playing horrible guitars. They were $70, $80 guitars.
Yeah.
So the only way to get sound out of them was to put heavy gauge Martins on it. Heavy gauge.
Yeah.
We're talking. So I currently use 12 to 53.
Yeah.
Mediums are 13 to 56. Heavies are 14 to 58. Like they're fucking tow cables.
Right.
That's what I learned to play on. I played on heavy gauge Martins from the time I was 5 till I was about 16.
No wonder you can play fast.
Yeah.
Right?
And so when they would die, I would take them off, coil them up, put them in the spaghetti pot on the kitchen stove, and boil them for 20 minutes. And the boiling process would blow all the dirt out of the windings.
Right.
And then when you put them back on, if they broke, you just took the broke end and tied this special knot my dad showed me and put it back in and wind her up. And I did that for 10 years. Because we were destitute from the time my father passed away until I left home at the age of 16. 8 years, we didn't have money for strings. Strings were expensive. Like, even at that time, a set of Martin strings was about, I don't know, $5 or $6. That was fucking grocery money.
Cheap by today's
standards,
eh?
Yeah, they're 20 now, right?
Yeah.
But that was money my mother wasn't going to put out. So, yeah.
Killer.
There's another rabbit hole.
Totally.
I want Hassenpfeffer.
You want rabbit pie? Rabbit stew?
Because, well, look, we're still going down the rabbit hole. I want the goddamn stew.
My grandmother used to make it.
We
She'd
don't have
fry the rabbit.
Yes.
So
they
put
do
some
it,
color on it, and a
yeah.
little flavor into
You
it.
put flour on it first, too.
Yeah, dust it.
Dust it, fry it in butter. One time.
Better than a squab, boy. I says it's better than a squab.
And everybody knows this because it was in the Life and Music episode. But one night, me and my brother Bob were down in Alabama. We had no money and no food. We're staying in a festival trailer in the middle of the woods. We hadn't eaten for about 2 days. And somebody said, we can lend you a cut when we had no cigarettes. And they only cost 99 cents down there at that time. And somebody said, I've rolled up some coins and stuff for you. You can get down to the A1 stop. It was I think it was a Texaco station. Get down to the A1 with this rolled up pennies and you get some smokes and some milk and some flour and whatever, right? So on the way out of this park we were staying in the middle of the woods in just butthole Alabama, the headlights shine upon a rabbit in the middle of the road.
Smacko.
Oh no, I didn't do that because I didn't know I could hit him. So I stopped and froze him with the headlights, and I had these doe-skin, pointy-toed cowboy boots on. And I walked up to him while he was frozen in the road, and I kicked his fucking brains out. I hit him right in the side of the head.
Welcome
Boom!
to String Theory.
Yeah,
Jesus.
and we
Sponsored by the SPCA.
It gets worse.
Yeah, really.
We took him, scun him, fried him right then. We took him home and ate him.
You done scun him?
Yeah. We turned around, went right back to the trailer, gutted him, scun him, cut him up.
Poor little rabbit.
Fried him in flour and butter.
Poor little rabbit.
We were starving to death. We hadn't eaten in 2 or 3 days. This is 2 guys sitting in this trailer going, how are we going to live? Like we got nothing. We didn't even have flour to make a biscuit.
You put the two of us together, we could, if somebody barbecued us, they could feed like a festival.
I could feed a village. But, yeah, so hey, look, remember,
Hassenpfeffer.
I was down in Alabama to play music and learn how to pick bluegrass from Americans, and I did. But that's what I had to do to fucking
survive.
do it. And it ain't no joke. It was funny then. It's funny now, but my brother and I, God bless Bob, he's still living just barely. But we went through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. He's a, and I wish I could get Bob on this show, except he wouldn't say anything. He's the quietest guy ever. So you'd look at him. All he'd do if he was sitting here is just look at me and go,
Stare at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. But he wouldn't say a word, right? So anyhow, here's the Bob and my other brother Joe. They're watching.
Uncle Joe.
But Bob, I guarantee you, Bob watches every week. I guarantee he's laughing his ass off right now.
probably not saying anything, though.
No, he's probably not saying a word.
Yeah, he's just chuckling, really.
I love you guys. Sure, next.
Super Jeff from Jeff Galand.
Hey,
Jeff
Jeffrey.
Gavon.
What's happening, brother?
He says, glad to see how well the channel is doing. Glad I was a small part on the road to a really great show. Love you guys. Keep on plucking, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
Hey, hopefully we'll have a PEI get-together this summer.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It would be great.
Yeah.
I love playing over there, and I get a lot of dates. So,
Yeah.
you know what we need to do right now that I feel like doing?
What? What are we doing?
Our new segment. We did it last week. It was a humongous success. Everybody commented on how much they enjoyed that. And so I'm going to tell you a little story because I love being.
About a man named Jake?
I love being totally transparent on this channel because that's what sold this channel was the fact that I'm not afraid to tell people the worst warts I've got.
Don't joke.
Don't tell him about that
Oh,
one.
I'm telling them.
Don't tell him about that one.
So, Chris walked in tonight with a whole bunch of super high-end electronic gear.
I wouldn't call it.
Well, it is to me. I don't know shit about.
Well,
this
you're
stuff.
stupid.
I know. And so, and a fucking script wrote everything out like he's doing a lot of work, right? And he comes in and puts all this shit in here, and I went, "You can't do this to me." And Chris goes, "What am I doing to you?" I said, "Well, if you come in here and do all this, and it's fucking cool as hell. When you're not here, the show's gonna suck."
I don't think that's going to happen.
And he started laughing. I said, he says, so in other words, you got to keep the show shitty,
Right.
so that nobody notices when I'm gone.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
The show has to suck all the time.
Yeah. So when I'm
when
alone,
Ginger and I
I'm alone,
are not here,
no one will notice it's sucking.
that is the worst.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Well, it is. But anyhow,
You're a dork.
you're here now, and you're one of my best friends, and you're one of the most knowledgeable people I know. When it comes to electronics, there's not too many fucking humans I've ever met in my life that even come close to what you know. So here we are with the newest segment, a Geek Speak with Chris.
Are you ready to geek out?
We are, yes, Geek Me.
Do you want to geek out?
And you're going to love this, because the great thing about this segment is that you're answering technical questions that I can't, but that I get on a consistent basis every week. Every week, somebody writes me about this, and this, and I only can relate to them through my own personal experience as a performer, which has nothing to do with the science.
With reality, you mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not based in reality.
No, I'm not. Okay, buddy, whiz it out.
All right.
Whip it up.
Let me see if I can whip it out for you.
Pull it out there, whip it out there, put it on
I'm
the
going to
table.
throw it right out on the
Just
desk.
put it right on the table.
All right.
Stay weird.
So
Christopher Coote.
We've had a ton of questions about different kinds of microphones.
We have.
Right? For years.
Oh, yeah.
It's a recurring
Over
theme.
4 years now.
So, three main types of mics that we deal with in live music are dynamic, condenser, and they break down into two subcategories: large diaphragm, small diaphragm.
Yep.
Okay?
And I know what they mean based on their tonal quality.
Right.
I don't know how they work.
Right.
I just know I need this type for this thing and that type for that thing. Right.
Because they all have their bag, right?
Right.
The third type's ribbon microphones, which were one of the first, one
Yes.
of the earliest types.
RCA
Yeah.
made
famous.
some of the greatest ribbon mics ever made.
I would still love to have like a 77BX.
And they cost $10,000.
Yeah.
Refurbished.
So we'll do tonight. We'll just start slow,
Yeah.
and we'll start with dynamic mics.
Yep.
So I've brought some dynamic mics with me.
This is so cool.
Okay. So there's dynamic mics.
Yep.
Right there. Right.
Show them each one.
All right. So we got to back up a little bit to figure out how it all works, right?
Right.
You get the classic Shure 58.
This is the world standard.
This is the microphone of all microphones.
Yeah.
Right?
All vocalists use this on
Yeah.
stage.
All right. So how does a mic work?
Right.
All right. To understand that, we'll cover something really super simple, one of the basic electronic and electrical tenets, right? So I've got some speaker voice coils here with me. This one's for a woofer, like a home stereo woofer.
Yep.
And this one is for a home stereo tweeter, right?
Yep.
And all these coils is just a wire, kind of like a light bulb. It's just a coil of wire, and they're each wrapped around a little round form. So they're called, in a speaker world, they're called a former.
Yep.
But this is just a continuous coil of wire, a conductor
Of copper wire. Yeah.
They can be made out of different things. Doesn't have to always be copper, but that's it. So one of the basic principles in electricity is it's all about the magnetism.
Right.
And if you move a wire or a conductor through a magnetic field, it causes a current to flow in the conductor.
Yep.
And if you move a magnetic field around a wire or a conductor, it also causes current to flow.
Right.
Right? Not too hard to understand.
Sound.
And that's how a mic works.
Right.
At its base, right? So
Show him, Ginger.
all right.
Watch this.
So we'll take this woofer voice coil. That's our conductor.
Right.
And we'll take this bunch of magnets here. These are little neodymium magnets.
Have you
And
got
if-
the
Yep.
You got it up?
get it up?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So if I move the magnets within the coil, what's happening over there, Ginger? Is it working?
It's drawing lines, yep.
Drawing lines on the oscilloscope.
Just from the
Behind
magnet, just from the magnet going
Yeah,
in.
that's actually making power
Yep.
doing that. And that's one way to do it with a magnet. Now this is a coil for a woofer, so it's attached to a cone normally.
Right.
There's the rest of the woofer. And the magnet is in the center of the woofer. So
Right.
normally this coil will be moving up and down in
Right.
a speaker, whether it's a woofer or a tweeter. And that should be showing something as well,
Yep.
right? Much larger now.
Yep.
Because that's the basic thing. We're causing current to flow.
So remember, so what's happening here? You're seeing inside something.
Yeah.
When you look at one of your fancy speakers, where you can see the
Cone
cover
moving. Yeah.
You see the cover doing this?
That's
That's
the
what's
cone
happening.
moving. Yeah.
It's the cover of this assembly being pushed by air, sound, and this
You got it.
electricity moving, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible. You don't even think about this when you think about microphones, but this
Right.
this is what it is.
So if we put that one aside and we take this little woofer here
Right. Which has a cone,
got
has
the
has
cone
all
in
the
it.
cone, the paper's all there.
and the coil's underneath,
Yep.
and if I press this cone and I move that cone,
It's making sound.
it's making voltage,
Yep.
right?
Which shows up on our
Yeah.
what is this device called?
It's an oscilloscope.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time
Yep.
versus voltage.
Right.
Okay? Now this is a microphone.
Yeah.
Because if I talk into this now, I'm vibrating the diaphragm and moving the coil, and that should be showing up on the oscilloscope as well.
That's right.
Hey, 1, 2, check 1, 2.
There it is. And guess what?
So that's a microphone.
The first time I ever saw this work in principle was when I had no other option to pick up my banjo back in this would have been late 80s, early 90s. We had a band, and I took this assembly, which would be about an inch smaller than this,
Yeah.
out of a set of headphones.
Yeah. Little headphone speaker.
Yeah, I took a headphone speaker and taped it to the head of the banjo inside, soldered a line
Cable
out
onto it. Yeah.
to a jack, and that was the pickup.
Yeah.
And it actually, and you know what it was? It was a real set of realistic
Realistic
headphones.
headphones.
And we took that out of the headphones, taped it to the banjo, out to the 1/4 inch.
That
right
was
to
your
the bo-
pickup system.
And it worked.
Right.
It didn't sound that good, but it worked.
In modern recording studios to this day, for specific miking applications,
Yep.
they will use small speakers tucked up in front of something
Yep.
and do the same
As
thing.
a microphone.
Right.
Yep.
So that principle goes both ways. Normally in a woofer, you're putting voltage into the woofer or speaker, and that's causing a current to flow, and it's repelling
Right.
that magnetic force that exists in the speaker, moving the cone, And that's what we hear as sound.
Yep.
Right? Now, if you take that and you shrink all that down,
yep,
and you pull out your SM58, there's a diaphragm at the top, and that diaphragm has a voice coil attached underneath it.
Yep.
And that voice coil is sitting inside a little tiny magnetic gap
yep,
between the north and south poles. And when we talk into it, we're vibrating the diaphragm, we're
yep,
moving it in the gap,
yep,
and that's causing a voltage to be induced into that coil.
which creates sound.
It's just a speaker in reverse.
Yep.
That's all it is. So you've got the capsule at the top, which has the diaphragm and the coil and the magnet.
Yep.
And then inside the body, there's a transformer in there. And at the bottom, there's an XLR, female XLR.
And tell me what this conversion, how it changes that into the signal goes into the cable.
Does it remind you of anything?
Yeah.
What?
An ice cream cone.
Everything reminds him of food.
Everything reminds me of food.
Where did you
We
hear
have
about
ice cream sandwiches in the freezer.
Where did you hear about transformers lately?
Well, yeah.
Just like in a DI,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the voltage coming off of this diaphragm is millivolts to microvolts.
Right.
Thousands of a volt
Yep.
to millionths of a volt. It's really small, right?
Yep.
So there's a little tiny transformer, just like in a DI,
Yep.
that converts that into a balanced signal
Yep.
that's suitable for sending down a mic cable
Yep.
and going potentially from the stage to the back of the arena to the mixing
Out the
console.
speakers.
Well, to the console,
Yep.
where it can be preamplified
Yep. It is.
and
It's
EQ'd,
bigger
and
it's shot at the
right,
speakers.
and comes back and goes out the speakers.
So the crazy thing is, there's so many things I could ask about. Okay, so just to close this up, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing that blows me away about this is that, so this is a world standard microphone that everybody has used, right from the Eagles right down to
Everybody.
the Eagles recorded on these in the studio.
It's the same capsule as a SM57.
Right.
They're identical microphones except for the ball on
Right.
the end.
So what makes it? So there's my question. That's what I was going to ask. We know that vocal mics, there are hundreds of them,
Right.
and like my favorite one is the Shure, but it's a Beta 87. So
Right.
it's a matter of components.
Well,
There's to change the quality of what you're hearing. Is
and the type of microphone, right?
Right.
So this is a dynamic.
Right.
It doesn't require any power. It
Right.
literally makes its
Right.
own power.
The other
right.
ones take Phantom.
Your Beta 87 is a
powered.
condenser
It's
microphone,
powered.
which is a totally different theory,
Okay.
right? So in another episode, we'll look at some different dynamic mics
Right.
and what features make them sound like they do, the patterns that they exhibit for picking up,
Yeah.
why they're good for certain things and not good for other things.
Right.
But in its simplest form, there's your dynamic microphone.
But but again, I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Again, the microphones that are like this one, that are more expensive and better than that.
Yeah.
It is just a matter of
Components.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Materials and components is what makes.
What's the size of that diaphragm?
Right.
What's it made of?
Yep.
What frequencies does it react to
Yes.
the best?
Because they all have the human ear can hear from 20 hertz to 20,000.
When you're brand new.
When you're brand new,
yeah,
perfect hearing.
right.
So microphones have a response as well in that range, and certain ones have the bookends are in different places for
Right.
different mics, and there's movement, there's spikes
Yeah.
about what they hear in
And there
between
can be
the 220s, right?
Right. And have you ever noticed that you never see a dynamic mic with filter switching on it that
Right,
you can
no.
roll off the bottom
Yeah.
end or bring up? You can tailor the response.
Yeah.
Well, that's where condenser mics and stuff come in because
Exactly.
they're not like a dynamic mic. They're a little more complicated.
Yep.
And they actually have an amplifier built into them, which is why they take the phantom power.
Right.
But we'll get into that later on down the
So
road.
that's wicked, Chris. Thank you.
Dynamic
incredible.
microphone. Is this thing on?
Dynamic microphone. Oh, I actually heard something.
I can see you on
I
the
can hear
oscilloscope.
something weird happened.
Yeah.
So
That's
there
it.
you go. Isn't that cool? So yeah.
See, that wasn't life changing
Oh yeah, it is.
That's just
because
boring.
now
stuff.
you're gonna not be here next week, and I'm gonna be sitting here talking about drinking straws and marmosets.
Marmoset.
Drinking
and
straws.
everybody's like, "What the fuck is he
You
talking
could
about?"
show people how to tie that knot.
Could
in
show
a
people my
guitar
ass
string.
and be smarter than any of that. So there you go. Geek
Geek
Speak. Chris Coote. He's the man. The man.
I hope nobody asks anything hard.
Well. So Kirsten. Next Kirsten.
Next question.
I have a super chat from Ian Rossiter.
Hey,
Ian, again, you're back.
Did you get to look at the Red Eye preamp?
No, I did not. I did not. I remember you saying about that, but I did not get a chance to check it out. But I will eventually. Things are really busy, so we will get to it. I think I think I saw you on Facebook with that actually.
The Red Eye.
Yeah. Something I'm not aware of.
Hmm.
It could be my favorite preamp ever that I remember because it was a stereo blender preamp.
It was
the
red.
Raven Labs.
It was red. The
was
Raven Labs. I remember I worked on that thing.
Yeah, and they don't make them anymore. And They were
Right.
so good, so good.
But they were a little problematic on the road, weren't they, as I
Nope.
recall?
No, I just it wasn't that. It wasn't that component. It was my guitar. I couldn't keep using that guitar that had this stereo output
Right.
problem
Yeah.
with the guitar. But the Raven Labs box was fabulous, and they're out of business, unfortunately. So you have to buy them used now, and people do, and they're very expensive to find them still working.
I haven't seen one since yours.
I know. Kerr next.
Question from Eli Patrick Music.
Eli Patrick Music.
Eli.
I was doing more research on the tune I sent you a while back, and I found a
Yes.
post that said it may have been written by a fiddler named Pat Menard.
Oh yeah,
Are you familiar with his work?
yeah. I know. I've heard that name before.
Where's he from?
I think he's from Quebec or New Brunswick, one or the other. I can't remember, but I know the name. Pat Menard is a name I know, and he's written a lot of tunes. So yeah, there's a good possibility that because that tune's definitely Canadian. And just to catch everybody up, Eli sent me a tune that Doyle Lawson recorded that I think they misnamed. It's definitely Canadian. I thought it was King Ganem that wrote it, but yeah, Pat Menard is, and it's old. Pat Menard's long dead, whoever he is, as far as I know. So yeah,
Cool.
keep on digging around. You'll find a lot of cool stuff if you dig around enough about the origin of fiddle tunes, especially fiddle tunes, because they come from everywhere, but generally end up only coming from one source, which is the UK. And they come from Scotland, Ireland, or Normandy, like in France, and to a lesser extent into the Middle East in Saudi, where the bagpipes were invented. And they made their rounds right through Spain, France, all the way up into the north of Scotland, is where the bagpipes actually came from. So the pipes led to the fiddle, which led to the tunes, which led to the immigration, which came over here. So there's a huge amount of history in tunes we think we know and think we know who wrote them, but we don't. If you go back far enough, it's like, wow, that actually came from Joe Blow over in Edinburgh, 400 years ago. But
Yeah.
it evolved as it came forward through here and down through Appalachia, and now it's called the chicken reel.
Okay.
But it's not. It came from way back yonder. So
Cool.
There you have
keep
it.
on looking, Eli.
The chicken reel.
Yeah.
The clucky reel.
We have a question from Chris Arsenault.
Chris Arsenault.
Do you ever sell any of your guitars?
I do. And when I do, I announce it on Facebook. So if I ever have anything for sale, you'll find it there. You can follow me on the JP Cormier page, or I would say you can try to friend me on my personal page, which is John Paul Cormier, but I don't take very many friends in because there's too many people. But there's an unlimited number that can join JP Cormier. So if you follow me on there, you'll see all my posts.
When was the last time you got rid of some guitars? A year ago.
It's
Recently.
been a while. It's been a while because I'm sort of nearing that point where I only have guitars that I can't sell, which is good. But eventually, some of the ones that are not in that echelon will be sold.
Culled from the herd.
Yes.
A
A
question from
Next.
Lee Larade.
Who?
Lee Larade.
Leela Rad.
Sure.
Is that not new?
Why not?
Very French. He's my cousin.
Really?
Well, he has to be with that name because they're all related. Me and the Larads are related at cousins through the DeVoes and Shettycamp and the Gallants. We're all related distantly. What's the question?
I see. Looking to upgrade from my Taylor 214 CE. I'm looking at the FG9 and the LL56. Which do you recommend?
Okay, well, the 56 is going to cost you more than the FG9. And if you want a powerhouse dreadnought, you have to go with the FG9. The 56 is a masterpiece. It's nothing like any other guitar you'll ever play. And it's not necessarily something that only does bluegrass or only does Celtic. It's the most versatile, tonally complex instrument you'll ever put your hands on. It's a hot rod when it comes to guitars. If you're looking for something that's just pure power and tone and playability and volume and just crazy bluegrass thing, the FG9 is the way to go. If you're looking for a Da Vinci, the 56 is the way to go. One is the best workhorse that's being sold in the world right now for dreadnoughts, and the other one, the 56, is like, it's a masterpiece. It's built by one man in the shop in Hamamatsu. Nobody else touches it. It takes 6 months to get it, and so there's your two choices. It's whatever you want. They're both going to be wicked, but the 56 will cost you roughly $2,000 more than the FG9. The FG9s are running around $5,500 Canadian, and a 56 costs near $8,000 Canadian.
Will you find a used FG9 somewhere, do you think?
No,
No?
not yet. Maybe in years.
Mm-hmm.
But they're making so little of them because they're coming out of Hamamatsu too, and I'm going to review this guitar very shortly. I'm actually probably filming it this weekend, and I can just tell you right now, it's the best. It is the best dreadnought guitar being sold in the world right now among companies that are high volume production. This means Martin Taylor, Gibson, Alvarez, Breedlove, any of those companies, any of them, it's the best dreadnought that's being built, period. And
What's the choice of woods in it?
mahogany and rosewood. I have mahogany here because I prefer mahogany. It's brighter, louder to me, more penetrative. And see, there's choices there too that I didn't even think about. The 56 only comes in one thing, the highest end rosewood you can find.
Right.
The FG9 comes in rosewood and mahogany. So if you like a brighter, livelier guitar, the FG9 mahogany is just unbelievable.
The rosewood would slow it
The
down, make it a little
rosewood,
sweeter.
the rosewood makes it dark and sweet.
Yeah.
But the mahogany is like just a machine gun. Cut a tree down with it, right? You can't. I'm telling you.
I don't think so.
So
Cut a tree down with the cut down tree.
You're not. You are looking into like two of the best guitars ever made in the world.
So basically, it comes down to what sound he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the price you want to pay, because the 56 will be really expensive. I was lucky enough to work with Yamaha, and I got a small discount on my guitar, but I still paid a lot of money for it, and I don't regret it, not one bit. And I'm going to have to pay for this guitar eventually, because there's so few of them being made, they can't give them away.
Right.
So I will eventually have to pay a discounted price for this, but I'm going to, because this guitar I can't let it go.
Yeah.
There's no way. I'll just never find another one. There's like the last time I talked to somebody at Yamaha America, they were told last summer when I was at the guitar. What was that thing I was in Chicago? What was that called? The guitar? That wasn't the Guitar Summit. It was
something.
It's the biggest acoustic guitar expo.
The Fretboard Summit.
The Fretboard Summit.
Yeah.
They were told. I was talking to Yamaha America then, and they were saying that that America was only getting about 125 guitars total for the whole country, right? So you can't find them.
Right.
As soon as they come in, they're gone.
They're sold.
They're gone. Bye. See ya. The guys in Missouri, my buddies, John and the boys out there, they've gone through, I don't know, they've had 6 of them. They lasted about 10 minutes. Because bluegrassers walk in and go, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like in an American funds, they're less than a D28. Like a D28 that has the appointments that the FG9 has is unheard of, right? So, it's crazy. Yamaha is one of the best guitar builders ever in the history of guitar. They're right up there with Yeri, same thing. Those guys, and they've been overlooked because they're foreign, and it's sad. And a lot of Americans watch the channel and go, "Well, you can't trust the Japanese and the Chinese." And
I don't know if I'd say that Yamaha's been overlooked.
It has among the players that I count myself in. A lot of guys just don't consider Yamaha as a viable choice. Yeah, it has to be an American maker. It has to be this and that. And the
real trad bluegrasser guys. And,
it has to, but it's not. It doesn't. The Yamaha. I can't say bad things about concerning my description of Yamaha, because they're very family-oriented company, and I've got in trouble once because of a T-shirt I wore during a review that I had to refilm. Yeah, because Japan called and said, "We love JP, but he can't wear that shirt
on this review."
This review. So that's how serious they are about respecting their customers and respecting. So I call the FG9 the screw-off guitar. That's what I call it. Because when you play one, it's like, oh yeah? Well, screw you. All these other guys that think they can build a dreadnought,
right,
that can melt your face. And I'm not talking about the small builders. Talking about the big, massive companies.
The line builders, yeah.
The line builders that are building 10,000 guitars a month, like Yamaha does. Yeah. They're not building 10,000 of these a month. No. But they put out a dreadnought that completely devours any other company's dreadnought of this type. Of plain Jane, mahogany, Adirondack. Yeah. You can't beat it. There's nothing I have ever seen that even touches it.
Close to it.
So it's about time. But the thing about Yamaha, as I've said a million times on here, they only build these guitars because they love to build guitars. And when they've passed the point of, if we build any more of these, we'll grow tired and complacent. They'll quit the FG9, and they're going to be gone. So that's the thing to think about. These are not factory line guitars. They're made by hand, and if you can get one now, I would buy one. Because if in even 4 or 5 years, they will not be here anymore. And that's just a prediction. It's not an inside knowledge. That's my prediction from watching Yamaha operate over the last 40 years. When they come out with these killer guitars, and they just were there and then were gone. And everybody who bought one is they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off trying to find one.
Right.
And they can't. Right? So here's the Yamaha. And here's to all the Asian builders. The guys up in Kani, Japan at Yeri, same deal. The Eastman boys, the guys who are building Bridgeport for Roger Schmidt, the Hosen, Singapore, they're just unbelievable builders, right?
Yeah.
And they're cheaper than American products. Sorry, they are. What are you gonna do? I don't know. You could just buy a Boucher, spend $10,000 and buy one of those.
Well,
Not all of them are that much.
Actually, you wouldn't have to buy you wouldn't even spend $10,000 for a Boucher like that because Robin can build that guitar for the same price, and it'll probably eat that guitar. But it would be damn close.
Yeah.
Damn close. It would not be an easy competition. That guitar between any of the small bench builders that have to put their best foot forward, which Robin always does. So. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's coming out in the guitar world now. Crazy. The best possible world for players. So, here's the guitars. Next.
Question from James Doctor.
Dr. James, come in.
When do you plan on coming or making your way to Kansas City, Missouri? I would love to come see you jam out live.
I'm hoping to get there this year to go see my buddies at the acoustic shop, John Chapman and the boys. So he's out in Missouri there. I'm not sure. I can't remember the city he's in, but if I'm going to go there, I can go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
So and I play in. I end up playing. I've been to Norman, Oklahoma several times as well. Just not that far off. It's a few hours, 5-6 hours away. But I love the Midwest, so I'll be back. Keep your eyes open. Next.
Question from Jim Waller.
Jim Waller.
Jimmy.
Have you ever used the K&K XLR preamp with your pure mini pickups? How do you like this with or without your Loudbox Artist amp?
Okay, so I'm brutally honest about these things, and I can't help it, and I don't care. But K&K, as brilliant as they are at building transducers and systems for amplified guitars, make one of the worst preamps I've ever seen.
We had one, right?
Yeah, it's not well built. I'm sorry, but it's just not a good preamp. It does the job, carries a signal, but it's flimsily built. It's hard to get a battery out of it. You have to take it apart to change the battery. I don't like it. I've never liked them.
I believe we customized it, didn't we?
We did.
Yes, it got a little bit.
And they make those,
unique.
and they make the blenders, and even their wheels that they offer, they're not good quality. And I don't know why. It's probably because they're too goddamn busy building this, having the sensors designed and all this stuff, because those are all built overseas as well. And they can't do everything right or great. I mean, the stuff will work, but it's nowhere near the quality of anything you'd buy from Baggs, Fishman, what was the Dave preamp I said?
The Dave preamp.
Yeah. Empress.
Like
all those, there's so many great
Yeah.
preamp EQ things that you can use besides using a proprietary.
I kind of got the sense with that one K&K that we dealt with that they didn't even design it or build it.
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I don't think that Dieter would have anything to do with that.
Yeah,
thing.
I believe, I have to believe that.
No, Dieter's a stickler for detail.
Yeah.
He's an engineer.
Yeah.
He's not just some guy. He's an engineer.
Yeah.
Tip check.
His first pickup system was built for vibraphones. And it was the best thing anybody ever heard. And that's how he got going into guitars. Imagine having a sensor on every single thing. That's what he designed. Yeah. He was a jazz guy. So that's how he started. The man knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I think that those, and because they're so powerful and good without any external force, I think that the amount of time and thought is put into a little preamp box is just not on.
It wasn't theirs.
On the table with them. No.
Yeah.
So buy something else. Buy the pickups because they're the best that there is.
Yeah.
But buy something else to amplify them. So, next.
Super chat from Larry Reindress.
Larry Reindress.
Hey, Larry.
Django Reinhardt started playing the 6-string banjo before turning to the guitar. Have you tried them?
I don't believe in them.
What, you think they're like unicorns? They don't exist?
I hate them.
Banjotar.
I think the 6-string banjos are a way for guitar players to cheat and pretend they're banjo players. And I fucking hate that.
Exactly.
Bullshit. I don't want to see. There's no such thing as a 6-string banjo.
Yeah.
There's a 4-string tenor and a 5-string bluegrass, and that's the way it came over from Africa. And everybody else is just pretending they're a banjo player.
You hit the nail
Bullshit.
on the
Bullshit.
head.
Yeah, it's not even real.
Yeah.
Not an instrument, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why Django Reinhardt didn't show up as a fucking 6-string banjo player. He bought a guitar when he can afford one, because that's what he was trying to play in the first place! Okay, next.
Oh, dear.
My
Super
full
chat from
bladder is
Stephen Baker.
causing me to
Tell us how you really feel.
glitch. Hurry up, because I'm going to piss in my pants.
No, super chat from Stephen Baker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here it comes.
He says, made it home. I'm now swampy lounge chair.
Swampy lounge chair. Okay, next.
Oh, dear.
Blech.
A question from Emmett Starcher.
Emmett Starcher. That's new.
It's very likely.
Wicked name.
Emmett Starcher.
Welcome, Emmett.
I had the opportunity.
Star chair.
Emmett's beaming
Beaming in from the
star
star
chair.
chair. Yeah. Emmett Starcher. Or as we used to say here, Emmett Starcher.
We don't say that here.
Emmett Starch there.
5 minutes later. Go ahead, Ginger.
I had the opportunity to buy a Norman guitar and I let it slip away. Should I have bought it? Not sure of the exact model.
Well, it depends. Normans are awesome. The new Normans that are coming out of Godin. There's a review I did on one of their high-end guitars, and it's awesome. It's all because Godin has allowed Norman to go back to its roots. And the great thing about Norman is that it's Robin's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Norman Boucher was the first boutique guitar builder in North America. After Martin and Gibson, like the first guy that started his own company, same year that Gallagher started, right? So there's huge history there, and if you are gonna buy a Norman, there's only a few models that I am aware of that are famous, and it's mostly the 12 strings, the old ones, and there are other ones that are sought after by collectors. But if you still want a Norman, you can go to any Long McQuaid and buy or order the high-end Norman guitars, and they're not expensive.
How many do you think they'd make a year?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Well, they're built by Godin.
Yeah.
They're built by Norman, but they're owned by Godin, but they're in the same plant in a different place where they're doing their thing, right? And Godin is doing the same thing that Gibson did with Epiphone.
Right.
They're letting them do what they do best.
Yeah.
And so so the newer Normans are big bang for the buck, same as Epiphone. So just go look for a new one. They're prettier and they're better equipped now anyway. If you're buying a vintage one, it's touch and go because you don't know what happened to them. They were all discounted as beach guitars when they were actually brilliant guitars. So you might, if you buy a used one, it could be a total piece of shit because somebody drug it behind their truck for 30 years. So just go buy a new one. Okay, next.
Question from Richard.
Richard?
Mm-hmm.
Richard?
Richard Starhair.
No.
No?
No.
Richard Flowhair.
Why?
Our favorite promoter.
Oh, why?
Go ahead.
Richard here from Oz.
From Wicked, man.
Do you sell sheet music of your flat picking?
As a matter of fact, I do. We are in the process right now of getting my book reprinted. So just keep your eyes open on our Shopify page and on here. And I wrote a book on guitar, specifically about one album that I made. It has, we're going to reprint it. There's so many people looking for it now, I'm going to have to redo it.
It's all the tunes off that album, right? Yeah.
And it's in depth. It's not just a tablature of music for that. It's my entire philosophy of playing guitar is in the preface and throughout the whole book. So it's going to come back out. I just got the quote yesterday. So we're going to make another batch.
Book.
A book. Let me check my book. 555.
Would you like to buy my book?
865. 8. Okay, next. I just pissed a little.
A comment from Iggy Club.
Iggy Club.
Iggy Club.
He's not new. He's
Nope.
back again. Mr. Club.
Spent time listening to David Francie today. I think I learned about him from you. His songs are simple but powerful and thoughtful. Thanks,
Yes.
JP.
Yeah, I can't listen to David because if I do, I sing his songs for 3 weeks in my head. It won't get out.
Yeah.
Every fucking thing he writes is an earworm.
Yeah.
And he just won another Juno.
You did.
Good on him. Okay, next.
Question from Mike Chisholm.
Mike Chisholm, the Chisholm Trail.
What are your thoughts on the Martin D10E?
I'm going to say this again. I have to say this every other week. As far as I'm concerned, there are no Martin guitars below the number 18. Sorry. That's it. If it doesn't have a D and a 1/8 or higher, it's not a Martin, in my opinion. It's probably something that they're trying to build that common people can afford. And in that process, they build garbage. So I don't care about D10s and
They build beach guitars.
and CX 105 Mexican special enchilada up your ass, laminate,
Not a beach guitar.
72-piece carbon bullshit
It's a dinner guitar.
guitar that's shaped like a fucking runny egg in a frying pan that Picasso drew. Those aren't Martins. So I just can't
turn
get
a
along
corner.
with anything. Sorry, I can't.
Okay.
It might be a fine guitar for whatever, but
Did you want to expound upon that a little bit? And
I
fill in
just
the
did.
details?
I don't
just
know
did.
if there's a need, really.
so I don't know. Like I mean, if you got it, look, if you got a guitar, I don't care what name's on the headstock. If you have a guitar and you're happy with it, don't worry about the name, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If you have this, what is it called, a D10?
D10E.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. That's what I mean.
It's a D10 extra.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
I know what a D18 is, and a 28, and a 40, and a 41, and a 35, and a 45, and a CEO model every year. I know what they are. I've seen thousands of them, and they're, for the most part, you pick one up and it blows your face off.
The D10 just doesn't go to 11. That's the only
Yeah,
difference.
it's just so if you're happy with that guitar, don't question it. Just hope that it's, frankly, if it's below the 18, it's probably better built than what Martin's coming out with, because if these guitars that are built outside of the United States and Mexico and China by Martin, they're not falling apart because they're not real. Just some of them are laminate.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of weird. It's true.
Plywood.
But if you buy an 18,
Yeah.
your binding might come off.
Yeah.
Like I got one sitting right there, and I'm not gonna say anything. Not gonna say anything.
Kerr.
So
Kerr.
you might be lucky to not buy the standard series of Martin,
Kerr.
because it may end up that you don't have to cook craft dinner in it.
Kerr.
Because it's falling apart and use it
Kerr.
for a shovel in your shit pile.
Okay.
In a cow barn.
Kerr.
Next.
Moving on.
There you go.
I just
Question
peed some more.
from Scott Judd for Chris.
We're gonna do a lot of laundry after this show.
A question for Chris.
Oh,
Reference
good.
the
I'm
Geek
Oh,
speak.
nice. I've been holding it myself. You can't.
Oh, I can.
Ugh. Didn't leave you in the lurch.
So why do speaker wires only have 2 wires, unlike mic cables having 3?
Entirely different signal. Your mic signals are, like we said, are on the order of thousands or millions of a volt, and it's a small signal. It needs to be a balanced signal so that it doesn't pick up noise going from the mic to wherever it's plugged in. A speaker level is on the order of several volts to hundreds of volts, depending on the power level that you're talking about. An 8-ohm, typical 8-ohm speaker, if you put 100 watts into that speaker of pure sine wave, how you make a measurement, 100 watts is equal to 28.28 volts into an 8 ohm speaker. 28 volts. So it doesn't need to be balanced. It's not going to pick up any noise. However, most speaker wires, I shouldn't say most, some of them are wound. They're twisted around each other as a single twisted pair, because that can give you some extra protection or act as shielding if you're running them along with power cables and stuff like that. But totally different kind of signal on, they're millionths apart.
I have never peed that much in my entire life.
Didn't take long.
That's just information that we don't all need to have.
What were you peeing through?
My cock.
Okay, thank you for that. That's just delightful content.
A garden hose?
We're gonna get kicked off YouTube.
Okay.
All right, Kirsten's.
Well, we gotta get going here. What do we got? Any super chats left?
Nope.
Okay. The question is, what is the world standard for vocal mics?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What is the world standard? Now, mind you, there's a million mics out there now.
Yeah.
But it's still.
It is
still.
It's the
the
ubiquitous.
most used vocal mic on
Ever.
any stage you'll ever find is this mic.
Yeah. For schnizzle.
And this will solidify positions 17 and 18 on the list.
Well, you play a little tune while the answers come in, and I play all the partners' names.
I think I might.
All right.
I'm going to play my little JP.
I think I'm going to watch you from over there.
I think you should.
Yeah.
My JP model Gallagher. Just strung it about an hour ago. Beautiful instrument. It's built out of Tennessee walnut and yellow cedar top. But the actual model they're gonna build is not like this one. This was a bit of an experiment.
There you have it.
There you go.
We'll get dinged for that. Don't say his name.
dung.
Don't say his name.
Or dung.
Or dung.
Might
yes.
get dung
We'll get
for it.
dung for it. What did you pee through?
We don't need to repeat that.
That's what's the funniest thing that's ever happened on this show.
I don't know if that's true.
That's pretty goddamn funny. What did you pee through?
Don't say it again. Don't do it.
That was fucking brilliant.
Once was more than enough.
That was really good. Okay, who's got the first answer?
Eli Patrick says SM58.
That is correct. Eli Patrick. You're on. Number 17, buddy.
Yeah,
Love ya.
buddy.
Corey McCormick says Coots Culottes.
He's number 1, Corey.
Yeah. What did he say?
Coots Culottes.
Who's culottes?
Next we got an SM7B.
Nope.
Oh,
Isn't that, which one was the Michael Jackson mic?
No, that was Stephen Baker, so it's probably something silly.
yeah.
I have one here. It's Michael recorded Thriller on it, and it's a Shure. It's an SM. It's a small number.
Michael didn't record Thriller.
Hell yeah.
Quincy Jones did.
You know what I'm saying. Fuck off. Okay, who's got the next answer before I punch
Jim
this guy in
Waller.
the nipples?
Jim Waller.
Jim Waller?
Is Jim on there?
Yep,
Yeah.
number 13. Sorry.
Alrighty. Jasper North said Sure 56.
Nope.
Kenny Shallowfee Music says SM58.
Yep.
He's got it all. He's number 9.
Oh, he's already there. Next with SM58 is Kyle McLeod.
No, he's not on
Kyle McLeod, you're number 18, buddy. There you go.
Nice.
Wicked, boys.
SM58.
That was a really good show. I enjoyed the show.
Kenny Holden says
Is-
Lips and Larynx.
Lips and larynx.
Now there's an hour and 25 minutes.
Well, I didn't care.
Well, yeah, because you got to pee.
Well, so did you eventually. But, you know,
Oh dear.
what are you going to do?
What are you playing?
I want to play some more Mac Brother.
Yeah, why don't you just get up and walk away again?
I am. Watch me go. You got to turn the speaker back on because,
Okay.
you know.
All right, because
You
it goes
can't-
off.
You can't have...
You don't have a production assistant to help with that?
I used to compete in the contests around him. He was a senior competitor when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The best fiddler. He used to win the seniors competition all the time. The 60 and
Did you
over.
and Garnet ever run into each other on that circus?
Garnet
Rogers.
Rogers never competed.
No?
Only with Stan as a singer-songwriter.
Oh, Jesus. I think you and Garnet looked a lot alike back then.
No,
Yeah.
I was a fetus when they were out doing their stuff. How old do you think I am, anyway? Garnet's 102.
87?
Who's playing this? Who's playing the fiddle?
Mac Brogan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny was asking.
Hey, Kenny.
And you know what? This is kind of sad and morbid. When he made this record, he had already had a few heart attacks.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, you have to stop playing the fiddle because you'll die. Because
Yeah.
he went in and made this record knowing
That it could
he
kill
could
him.
drop at any time and he didn't care.
Right.
It was his only album.
Did he die later?
He died about 6 months after.
Okay.
Yeah. But what a great testament. He was
Yeah.
such a great player. He loved it.
Yeah,
String theory. String theory. Okay. Love you guys. We will see you next time. Next Wednesday. If Chris isn't here, it'll be the suck show.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, well.
At all.
It is what it is.
I don't think so.
I can deal with the outflow.